I'm glad to see you in lesson 13 of this course, and today we'll look at the sequence of tenses. So let's start with actually understanding what the sequence of tenses is. It's a grammar rule and subordinate clauses. In Russian, these are предаточные предложения within one sentence. And sequence of tenses depends on the tense that stays in the main clause. In Russian, it's главное предложение. So let's see these two sentences in Russian. Он говорит, что идет, пошел, пойдет на работу. Он сказал, что идет, пошел, пойдет на работу. Basically, in Russian, the sequence of tenses exists, but you can't really see it. The matter is that no matter what tense is in the main clause, говорит or сказал, so it's either настоящее время or прошедшее время, we use настоящее время to express the idea that these two actions, говорить и идти, happen simultaneously. Прошедшее время to express the idea that these two actions happened one after another. And finally, будущее время again to express that one happened after another, but in number two, говорить happened after идти, and in number three, говорить happened before идти. And in English, if the main clause has a verb in a past tense, so if in Russian it were сказал, you have to change the tense in the subordinate clause. And again, let's look at these two sentences in Russian that you have already seen. Он говорит, что идет or пошел на работу, and он сказал, что идет or пошел на работу. Sentence number one can be translated as he says, он говорит, что, that he goes or went to work. Он идет, пошел на работу. And looking at this translation, you might want to translate sentence two as, again, he said, он сказал, that, что, he goes or went to work, but that would be wrong. Because you will have to change the tense in the subordinate clause according to the rule of the sequence of tenses. And in sentence one, says and goes, or говорит, идет, happen simultaneously in the present. And says and went, говорит, пошел, happen one after another. Says happens in the present and went goes to the past, meaning that went happened before says, пошел happened before говорит. So let's apply the same logic to sentence two in English. To say and to go, first, must happen simultaneously in the past. So let's translate it. Says changes to said, like in Russian говорит, сказал. So in Russian we change настоящее время to прошедшее время. But if you want an action that is administered by the verb to go to happen simultaneously what's said, you have to change it to past simple as well. So goes, went. He says that he goes to work will look as he said that he went to work. And that will be identical to the Russian он говорит, что идет на работу, he says, and he goes. Он сказал, что идет на работу, he said, he went. And that means if your main clause says is in the past tense said, you should use past simple instead of the present simple in your subordinate clause. And the same idea applies to present continuous. So if your main clause is in the past tense, again, says, said, use past continuous instead of present continuous in your subordinate clause. Let's again consider these two examples. He says that he's going to work will look as he said that he was going to work. While in Russian, we'll translate it as он говорит, что собирается идти на работу, that will look as он сказал, что собирается идти на работу. So consider this rule and now you can look at your exercises.